Hello everyone and welcome to yet another vlog episode. Today is all about answering one big question in guitar life. What's the difference between new, fresh set of strings and old and used strings? It's a big question. I think many guitar players approach the question a bit differently. But answering not only my own opinion to this question, I try to answer this question as scientifically as possible, measuring how long the notes sustains are between the two sets and what's the EQ curve like between the two versions. Usually I change strings roughly for every show and every studio session or similar event that I do. Sometimes I can go quite far with the old strings, but usually around 2 weeks you can start to hear and feel like you really want to change some new set of strings. So I've now actually made a little experiment trying to go as far as I can with one set of strings. So, today is 26th of February and last time I changed the strings looking at my calendar, I think it has been 8th of January. So that's now roughly 1.5 months, roughly 6 weeks with one set of strings playing shows. Didn't have any studio sessions, but playing shows and had load of practice. So this is how the current old set of strings sounds like. And now, cue music and let's change those strings. Now let's hear the new strings with the same setup as I recorded the old strings. Okay, let's dive now into the logic. I have recorded some bits with the old sets of strings, then I changed the strings and recorded the same bits again with the new set of strings. So let's analyze these a little bit. I used really clean and neutral mics and tried to match the distance to mics and playing power as closely as possible between the takes. I have couple scenarios that I recorded and now made little color coding. All the bright bits are the old strings and darker colors are the new strings. This is a random chord progression I made. Here we have one single open A string. Here is one single open B string, A minor chord, and E major scale throughout the neck. Okay, let's start with the first scenario here. This is the chord progression and I use Voxengo Span plugin to analyze the EQ curve and make some notes about the sustain. So let's hear first the old strings. Here we go. And then the new strings. Okay, there's clearly some differences between the takes and the sound of the old strings between the new strings. I think the new strings have generally more high frequencies, especially with the chords that I play that are fully closed in the middle of the neck. High frequencies, I think, have also longer sustain. So let's hear these once more and pay attention especially to this area, 2K between 20K. Old strings. And the new strings. Yeah. Way more information here. Also, I think more these shapes in the lower register are more clear kind of with the new strings. Okay, let's head now to the second scenario, which is the one note recordings. First, let's take the open A string here, played with the thumb pick. First the old string. And then the new one. Once more. Yeah, clearly it has longer sustain with the new strings, both in the fundament and the harmonics stays up longer with the new string. Especially the fundament drops down, I think, slower. Next is the open B string that I played with the middle finger. Let's hear it out. I think there are no huge difference between the sustain of the note played like this. There's clearly more harmonics, or they have more power in the new string than in the old string. Let's check out next the A minor chord, old and new. Huge difference in this area, I think. Check it out now. Also, the fundament is much louder. The chord played with the new strings just feels more crispier and has more body into it, because there are more information in this area and here, and it just plays louder with the new set of strings. And finally, let's analyze the E major scale. Again, way more high frequencies, overall lots more information in the EQ curve. I think it's more balanced and coherent sound throughout the neck compared to the old strings. You can hear the dullness of the sound, especially in the middle of the neck or in the middle of the scale. So take another listen, and listen especially the second octave maybe in the scale. New. The sound is just way more stable with the new strings throughout the neck. Okay, that concludes my little experiment today, and to summarize it a little bit, I think the new strings brings way more harmonics to the sound, which makes it more crispier, more clear, more full-bodied with the guitar. It gives to the sound of the guitar more volume, which makes it, I think, easier to play and gives you more dynamic range in your playing. Of course, there are like dozens and dozens of different reasons that are affecting to the sound of the guitar and the sound of the strings. What brand of strings you are using? Are you using coated strings or regular strings? What's the ratio between different metals in your strings, and so on and so forth, blah 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 blah. But what you need to do is try different set of strings and find a set that works well with your guitar. I have used the same brand of strings now for at least 6 or 7 years. I think it just makes life and playing way more easier when you have fresh set of strings. But with that testament, I have to say I'll never go to the concert or show or in the studio session with a string set that I have just put on to the guitar. I usually change the strings couple days earlier so I can kind of play them in so that they keep the tuning more accurately and they lose the nastiest edge from the sound. Thanks for watching my little experiment. Hit that like button, subscribe, and we see you on the next video.